teacher Juano, and for today I'll be reading you a story in celebration of Earth Day the other day. Okay, so it's a classic from the Dr. Seuss series, and it's called The LORAX. And I'm sure some of you have heard of this story before, or some of you are new to it. So let's dive in to The LORAX by Dr. Seuss. Now, this is a big book, but I'll try my best to keep moving it around the camera. Okay, so The LORAX by Dr. Seuss. All right, so what happened to this place? It's all gray, dark, and look at the trees. Oh no. At the far end of town where the grinkle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted LORAX. And deep in the grinkle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the LORAX once stood, just as long as it could before somebody lifted the LORAX away. What was the LORAX, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the grinkle grass grows, the old Onceler still lives here. Ask him, he knows. So the LORAX stood there before, but only one person knows, the Onceler. I think this must be us. So who was the LORAX? Wonder who he was. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkin on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkin, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffled move. And on special dank midnights in August he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the LORAX was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. So do you see the Onceler? Look at that. There's the Onceler. There's the sign to his office, and he's peeking out through the window. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 50 pence and a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. Alright, so I think all of you want to hear the story of the LORAX. So we paid. Are you ready to hear it out? Okay, so the Onceler will tell the story because he was the one there. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his grovelous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by a whisper-mophone, for the secrets I tell are for your ears alone. So we're the only ones who are allowed. Sloop! Down sloops the whisper-mophone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a sniggerly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the LORAX got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. So there's the whisper-mophone, so that's where we're hearing it from. But when he met the LORAX, it all happened in the past. A while ago, we saw trees that were dying and it was pretty dark, but before, whoa, this looks beautiful. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swoomy swans rang out in space. One morning, I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tops of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. So look at that. These trees look very different. They're beautiful and they're called truffle trees. And there are the swomy swans in the lake or in the pond. There are other creatures here. Look. And under the trees, I saw the brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffle fruits. From the rippleless pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. Those are called barbaloots eating the fruits of the truffle trees. And there are the humming fish. And there's the one seller. Oh, he's grabbing a tree. But those truffle trees. All my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. What do you think he's planning to do? Look at the things he's throwing out. Oh, I see an axe. What do you think he's planning to do? In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffle tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a need. So he did chop the tree, and he's now making what he calls a need. Something came out of the stump. It's the LORAX. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked, I saw something pop up out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said, with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the LORAX. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's that thing you've made out of my truffle tuft? And look, LORAX, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I am doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a need. A need's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat, but it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains or covers for bicycle seats. The LORAX said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that full need. So he's having a disagreement with the one seller. But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong. For just at that minute, a chap came along, and he bought the need that I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the LORAX. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. Oh, he's using unkind words there. I repeat, cried the LORAX, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. Oh, he's still saying unkind things. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Wanzer family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast, take the north to the north niche, turn left at the Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch. Oh, he's calling the entire family. Do you have any clues? Why is he calling his family? Based on his call, I think he has an opportunity for them. They made a factory. Oh no, there are trees being chopped down even more. There's the LORAX. How do you think he's feeling? And in no time at all in the factory I built, the once-oncer family was working full tilt. We were all knitted needs just as busy as bees to the sounds of the chopping of the truffula trees. Oh no, they chopped everything down. Then, oh baby, oh how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffle trees at one smacker. We were making needs 4 times as fast as before, and that LORAX, he didn't show up anymore. Oh no. What do you think is gonna happen? At this rate, how many trees might be lost? But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, "I'm the LORAX who speaks for the trees, which of which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots, who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits, and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go round. And my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies." Oh, they are getting crummy. They're holding their balance, which means they're hungry. With no more trees, there's no more fruits. So now these creatures have nothing to eat. Now what's the LORAX trying to do? "They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys," he cried, and he sent them away. I, the onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies in tummies, you know. So the LORAX sent them away because there's no more food here. So they had to let them go to find more food. But the onceler, he still continued even though he felt bad. Is that the right thing to do? "I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory," oh wow. "I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads." Oh no, there are more trees even than before. Of the needs I shipped out, I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more needs, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance LORAX came back with more gripes. "I am the LORAX," he coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and snuffled. He snarled, he sniffed. "Onceler," he cried with a crofulous crow. "Onceler, you're making such smuggless smoke. My poor swami swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat." Oh no, the birds are now also affected. There's so much smog. You know what a smog is? It is like smoke. And it's going through their throats and even their nose. "And so," said the LORAX, "please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. Also, they have to also go away, and we don't know how long. There's too much smog in the air." "What's more," snapped the LORAX, his standard was up, "let me say a few words about Gloopity Glop. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gloopity glop, also sloppity slop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old one-cellar man, you. So these are waste and it's going down the pipe. Where does this pipe go? Oh no! You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. Now no more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary. In search of some water that isn't so smeary, I hear things are just as bad up in Lake Erie. So even the fish have to go because their home is now covered in this waste. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at Lawrence, "Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap, yap and say bad, 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 bad. But I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you LORAX, I'm figuring and on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffalatrice into needs, which everyone needs." Oh, so the one-seller is frustrated now at the LORAX. And how did that make the LORAX feel? Look at his face. He looks sad. And look at the background. There's only one truffle tree left. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside the field came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffle tree of them all. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts and everyone all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke's smuggered stars. Now all that was left neath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the LORAX, and I. There's no more trees at all. And look what happened. Oh no. The LORAX said nothing, he just gave me a glance. Just gave me a very sad backward glance. As he lifted himself by the seat of his pants, I'll never forget the grim look on his face. When he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. Since there's no more trees, the LORAX also has to go. And look what happened to this place. I guess that's what happened. He continued chopping down trees even though the LORAX was trying to stop him. And all that the LORAX left here is this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long ago. But each day since that day, I sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. So is he beginning to regret? It sounds like he's regretting it. The thing that he has done to this place. But now, says the one-seller, now that you're here, the words of the LORAX seem perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So catch, calls the one, sir. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last truffula seeds, and the truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water, and feed it with fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the LORAX and all of his friends may come back. And there he goes, giving the last truffles. And that ends our story of the LORAX. So as Earth Day has just passed by, I hope we also protect our trees, especially here in the Philippines, okay? I know that there are programs that are planting more trees, but we need more than that. So aside from planting trees or other plants, protect them, take care of them, nourish them as what the ones that are said. Let's not make the reality of what happened in the LORAX a reality of our world. And it just like what the story says, unless we do something about it. Unless we do something about it. So I hope you enjoyed this story and I hope it inspires you. It sounds kind of a downer, but I think it's a challenge and invitation for us to do things better.